welcoming and a gathering, a welcoming and a gathering in this time, this place, this here, this now, this experience. A reconnecting with well-wishing, a reconnecting with inquiry and generosity. The gathering in there of the energy of the gift of attention. There's this breath, received, this breath, released. This rhythm is life. The receiving of experience and the response. And the gift received, conscious awareness, and the gift given, given attention, given without a bargain, without an expectation. And a meeting of the energy in the gathering in this time, this place, this bodily experience, this energetic experience, this connection, this felt experience. in this tone, in this way. This here, this now. Mistrust, miscare, skip, and the whole of it. Reconnection with the current here and now, the energy, the time and place. And the confidence that the whole experience can be received and the response is released. Like this. settling into the well-wishing and acceptance and the trust of this life. Awake, alert, sensitive, and still. This learning, this experience, receiving in the gift of attention, giving life to life, giving sensitivity and release to life. And the knowing of this knowing, the openness that that suggestion can allow, and gratitude for this experience, known in the knowing. This well-wishing the whole of it, the whole of experience, the stillness. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namassami. Someone talked to me a little bit today about how having confidence, be able to ask for help, and how that feels. And I think the way that it felt was that if there's a confidence that this is doing the best it can to do to not do things that are unskillful, not to think things that are unskillful, not to indulge in things, not to wish harm. And this one's doing the best it can, then it's okay to ask for help. And that's a recognition that we're social beings who actually depend upon the kindness of others. When there's not enough kindness around, it's called war. It's not a very, but I expect even in war there are times of great kindness. And having the confidence in the integrity of this helps. And as a suggestion, the 5 precepts as a basic, actually quite advanced suggestion for one's life. That one's going to try to not muddle up one's emotions and mind and cloud it all up, mess it all up, mess up one's judgment deliberately through taking things that are just designed to do that, which gives one an opportunity to be as truthful as one can. And yes, the basic precept of not lying is, a lot of work in itself. And part of that is, the whole thing of right speech, and the way that the harsh speech, the gossiping, the backbiting, the telling of tales, the memory of old, digging up old things that one wants to just churn on and talk about how this person was and all that. And then recognizing that that sort of conversation that goes on inside, is, when it's directed inside, it's almost more painful. The sense of self-blaming and self-criticizing and complaining that one probably wouldn't use towards others, but one is quite happy to beat oneself up about. And that what I've noticed or tried to point out to people, that behind that there is a sense of well-wishing, because this life wishes the best for itself, and one only complains about the way this thing is because one wishes itself well, one wishes it well, really. There is well-wishing in life. The life is inherent in well-wishing. It will move towards that which gives greatest happiness. And there's incredible confusion about what the greatest happiness is. That's true. But a pause and a breath and a being in touch with the sense that this being wishes itself well. And it doesn't need more than that. No, just being in touch with the sense that this being wishes itself well does not need to add a sense of, if I get this or if this happens, then I'll be happy. Or if I get rid of this, then I'll be happy. Because the feeding of that is just a feeding of a habit of inadequacy. No, and certainly there are skills that one can develop and help that one can ask for, and help that one can be quite happy and grateful to receive, because also one recognizes that the giving of something brings great benefit to the giver. And if one's open to receive things, then one is giving something to the giver, somebody who's open to receive. And that's a gift in itself. So, and the person who obviously needs that is, of course, the person that one lives with all the time, and particularly the gift of attention, which is the gift of the kindness of attention that is happy at the same moment to receive whatever is being offered. And one of the ways they describe the bhikkhu's bowl, which is open to receive whatever is offered. The Buddha's brain, the Buddha's heart. And so to treat it with that respect, but also that sense of one's life, to receive what's offered, and then from that sense of, I can endure and receive this, then one can give also. There's nothing that one can't endure, because if one is experiencing it, one is enduring it. Even the fear of not being able to endure something is I can't endure even that. It does. I do notice that fear and greed do make me stupid because there's a sense of, and that stupidity is just like trying to get out of it, and that's certainly, because I impatience and a willingness to be with something, willingness to endure something does, it's a mistake, and so it makes me stupid, and so ignorance is the cause of all stress, basically. I don't understand. If there's not the understanding of what's going on, then there's going to be more stress and more confusion. But and how? The the five precepts as a standard, as a go-to, allows one to feel, okay, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to be somebody who's in society and not making other people afraid. And I don't have to be anything to be afraid of what other people find out or do about me. So that's a basic container. And then one won't get caught in greed, because one won't get caught in a sense of inadequacy, because a basic keeping of the five precepts will suggest, if it's used with any wisdom, give one a sense of confidence that it's okay. And greed is just, inadequacy. I won't be happy until I get this. If I get this little gadget, then everything will be all right. If I get this little thing, if I get this little bit of attention from this person, then everything will be beautiful. If I get this, then I'll be happy. And feeding that is feeding a sense of inadequacy. And I do see that here, but this sense of inadequacy is just because I wish myself well. And then I don't even need to take that too seriously. I don't need to get too caught in it. Because this being wishes itself well. Of course, the best thing that could happen is that all beings could be completely enlightened. And many beings do wish that and have wished that. May all beings be well. And this is a recurrent chant, something that some beings somewhere on the planet are saying right now. Somewhere on the planet, somebody is saying, may all beings be well and happy. This is a guarantee. And that includes you. Because if enough of us do it, and if you said it any time, if you said it this morning, may all beings be well and happy, then right now you're wishing yourself and all beings, may they be well and happy. Because time and place is time and space. All beings for many millennia, the bewitched beings, may all beings be well and happy, and that includes you. Beings do wish you well, have wished you well, and you wish yourself well. And you're worthy of that, and you're worthy of all the help and support that you can possibly get. Because, and you can feel that better if you feel that I'm doing your best. That's the support. It's the suggestion. And then you can give your best, give what you can. And in the giving of something, you're not asking for it to be received in a particular way. You're not making any bargains about it. You're not trying to get something out of it. You're just with the confidence that this is something that can be released. And there's not a string attached to it. There's not I'll give you this if. And if I give you this, then I want the gift. the gift of the 5 precepts is brilliant. And then if you need something, you can ask for it. Ask to commit from somebody and feel confident that it's okay. And so the questions of what do I need to do and what's going to be the best thing for me. In the end, one doesn't really know, because how things will turn out will be how things will turn out due to many causes and conditions, maybe about which one has very little actual control. Where one has control is in the intentions. And if there's honesty in the practice of the samasankappa, of not indulging, not harming, not dwelling in hatred. If there's that practice, and not harming, not indulging, not hating, it's one too. It's not just what you put out; it's what you put in. It's no, and so it's okay. So the bullying and the self depreciation, that sense of it's the humble humility is fine, because it's really clear that there's a lot out of control, and there's a lot that I don't know, and there's a lot that that goes wrong, and it's not what I want, or I'm worried about losing it. Humility is fine. That's the sense of humble bragging is not so good, though. I'm the humblest of the humble. It's not going to work either. there's no sense of freedom in that. But appreciate what you can. Appreciate what you can, and if you do notice things that are beautiful and lovely, then fine with that. And then thinking, well, I should be doing something else. I should be noticing everything that's wrong, everything that's terrible, and then mistaking what that really means. Because a supergamatan is not about noticing the ugly. It's about noticing the parts. It's not noticing the bits that put things together. It's not. No, it's about not noticing not just dwelling on the sort of the whole of it. It's more like dwelling on it's taking things apart, like fixing it in some ways, or pulling off the hair of the head, the hair of the body, the nails, the teeth, and the skin. Putting it aside and thinking, oh, actually, oh, that's how it is. This is the blood. This is the delicacy of this skin as you cut it and then it starts to bleed, or it just does its thing. These are the bits that leak out. This is the bit that, when it gets into contact with something else, it starts to smell, or maybe it smells anyway because it starts to decay. Oh, this is the bit that when it comes out, it starts to smell. Well, it smells, and it's been inside, and it's been smelling inside, but I've just not been able to smell it. And these are the bits of it. So, the intention is not to make one feel aversion to it or to hate it. The intention is just to, oh, that's cool. That's how it works. It's actually quite amazing, really. How did all that work? How did all that get together? Wow, this thing, this is how it is. Wow. You know, when I cut my nails, one moment they're fine, the next moment I want to get rid of them. It's weird, isn't it? Click. Oh, oh, that's disgusting. Well, it was on you. Okay. It's yeah. Oh, toenails. Whoa. it's it, and yet this is the bit that allows this whole thing to happen. So it's not the sense of ew. That's not what that's not what Supergamatana is about. It's more like opening to the sense of wonder of it. You know, that this is the skeleton. When you look at somebody's teeth, you're looking at their skeleton. You know, and actually we don't really know very much about how the bones go or the muscles. We can look at that's why it's okay to look at the diagrams of these things and then recognize that they're just diagrams anyway, because when you start cutting bodies open, they're all different anyway. Mm-hmm. So this is the reflection on a Subhagamatan, to not make it something that we should feel hatred for, but just to see the wonder of it and see things in a different light, to allow the flexibility to not get fooled. And this is strange. This is strange. It's wonderful, and it's part of what life as a human animal is about. And this is a human animal. And a human animal is going to be, about a sense of inadequacy and fear, because that's the animal world. That's what the animals experience. Fear. It's a fear world. Constantly on the lookout, constantly worried about safety. And, the human world can take us out of that, which is, the human world is the capacity to train the intention and then to train the way that the body works, so that there's a certain care about it, to train the way that in the sense of restraint. And humans can train themselves. Animals have some capacity. I'm not saying that all animals have no capacity and they don't learn and that sort of stuff, but humans have the greatest capacity because they have the greatest capacity to intentionally act and think things through. And thought is a way of directing intention. That's what men do. That's what humans do. They direct intentions. So the training of that intention is important, so that then the actions of speech, the way that they talk to themselves and talk to others, how they communicate is important. What they do, how they act. And then in the training of that, there can be a sense of safety that is beyond fear. So that one can ask for something without a sense of fear about it. Because it's fine to ask for help. It's a human being, because human beings thrive on helping, and humans can sacrifice. And if they work well, they generate happiness. And they can find the causes and conditions and practice the Eightfold Path, which leads to the highest happiness, a freedom from compulsion, a freedom from ignorance, freedom in terms of not being caught by it, understanding the limitation, the humility of that. and the gratitude for the opportunity to practice. And so the sitting practice is just a way of, well, it's very important because it's a full-on immersion, it's a full immersion training, being enlightened. It has, or whatever exercises one does, which are helpful because it is helpful to exercise. It's helpful to have some flexibility. So, so that the meditation is not just a shutting down. The meditation is actually awakening. So whatever practices one does in one's meditation, metta, or sweeping through the body, or using the breath, or just sitting there, noticing what's not thinking, sitting with a sense of awareness, giving attention to attention, receiving experience, releasing. Now these suggestions and gathering the energy into this moment, 84,000 different Dhamma doors, 84,000 ways of expressing and realizing the Dhamma, which happens this moment, here and now, outside of time, is encouraging, is beautiful, leads to a sense of peace, and is realizable each wise person for themselves. This is the Dhamma that can be practiced. Lot of those are some suggestions, and then I have some questions which I've dealt with a little bit. But no, this is just if it helps, it helps. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Whenever or however this is received, through whatever means, wherever you are. If you're hearing this, be here now. It's what you've got, and it's offered, and if it helps, then fine. If it doesn't, then you can always turn it off. Anyway, but there's some other questions here as well today, so I'll try and deal with those. If you have questions, do put them in the chat. Sitting is a way for me to feel calm and peaceful, and for the mind to land back together with the body, so that the body feels happy and the mind to feel more grounded. And through all this, will panya gradually be developed? This is called doubt. Yes, of course it will. Trust and let it grow. Don't keep pulling it up and seeing whether it's grown anymore. just trust the sitting, trust doing it, and see whether it changes in your daily life. And how do I examine my level of saddha? Where's the fuel gauge? Because saddha is described as fuel for the car. Balance it with panya and trust that it's uncertain. And it's enough you can do. But I need to recharge my batteries. I need to fill up my tank. Don't feel so inadequate. Don't feed that sense of inadequacy. No, just see it's okay now. Don't feed that sense of inadequacy because it doesn't help in the long run. It's okay. It's okay. Appreciate what you've got and keep going. What's the difference between a novice nun and a trainee nun? I've got no idea. What's the difference between a novice nun and a trainee nun? Could be anything. Could be anything. It's whatever it is what it is. A trainee nun is a trainee nun, a novice nun is a novice nun. I think it's just different labels put on the same thing, or maybe they're different things at different stages. I don't know, because there's different terms in the scriptures. There's Sikamana and Samaneri. And I can't remember the difference between the two. Samaneri, I think, is called a novice. It's like it's equivalent to a Saman. And Sikamana, I think, is somebody's going to be, or can't remember which way around it is. I've forgotten. My knowledge of the Bhikkhuni Vinaya is very sketchy, really. It's a failing that I have. A fool who used to be a glutton here and did bad deeds here after death is reborn in the company of those who feed on grass, feed on dung, who are born and live and die in darkness. Does this sutta mean that whoever is greedy and deluded will eventually be reborn in the animal realm? I expect if you're filled with fear and filled with greed, then you're behaving a bit like an animal anyway. And so that's possibly the direction that the energy will go. But I don't have those sort of psychic powers to know that sort of thing. So I have no idea. I do and have read that those who are generous and wise and who keep the 5 precepts don't need to worry. So I'd go with that one rather than with the other. It's make life easier for yourself rather than get caught in worrying about how others are behaving. But notice what it feels like in the moment when you get caught in greed, when you feel you have to binge on something. I know how I feel. It doesn't feel very pretty or beautiful. It doesn't feel it's something I want to show people. It doesn't feel like something that gives me any confidence. And so, yeah, look at that one. Look at what we're interested in is understanding what's happening. We're interested in growing in wisdom. And for that, it helps be open about things. Are there any other questions? So, have I often answered enough of those that you sent me? While practicing meditation and encountering defilements, dealing with restlessness remains to be one of the most challenging for me. While the rest of them provide a stable object for reflection, the nature of restlessness is it's constantly shifting. Restlessness seems to happen on its own. Hijacking the mind and trying to reflect on it seems to justify just proliferating on the restless state. Can you please recommend any practice to counter restlessness? Give it a hard task to do. Give the mind a really hard task to do. There is one thing you could try. And then you just tie it to a post, really. So, so giving it a real effort to, this noticing the whole of the breath from here all the way through, noticing all the sensations down, and then taking it down, and then getting it up again. Something like that. I think that's why sweeping through the body is quite good for restlessness. Also, taking, the ubakin, taking attention through different parts of the body, noticing what's particularly strong, what's particularly not strong, and then what's nothing at all, noticing what's irritated in the body and what's not. So taking it into the body, taking the attention through the body. Now, the body is something that is usually quite slow, so you can use the body. That's one way that you might work with restlessness. Give it a hard task to do. Give the mind something hard to do. Give it a task to do, so that it has to actually follow this logically, sequentially through the top of the head all the way down through all the bits of the body, and then all the way back up again, and then out again, and then through that. That's one thing you can try. If you just want to give it a mental task, you can try the counting one. 1, 1 on the out breath. 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1 on each out breath. See how long you can keep that going, because you have to keep coming back to this thing. Or you can try even, a short restlessness one is just, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the in breath, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the out breath. Then you can slow it down by counting slow or counting fast. Give it, what I suggest, Nick, is to give it a task to do. So you've got something that, you're being honest with yourself that this is what I'm doing. So you're giving it some strength. This is maybe something that might keep restlessness in check for a while. Two ways I'm giving you, I think. You can also try with the breath. You can try letting the breath out as far as it can go. And then zipping it back in very slowly. That also works for sleepiness, because you're giving it something that actually work with it. So maybe that'll help me. On the question of meditation on the elements, this is what you asked last time. I had a strange experience that seemed to be close to a deep insight. I felt for a moment elements coming together from this individual, but when I got to a certain point, I had a strong sense of fear appeared and the experience vanished. I figured that was my sense of self that stood in the way. So here are my questions. I've said before, Nick, I'm not up to the meditation on the 4 elements. I haven't ever done it in a big way. So that's a Park-Sidle thing. You can probably get books from Park-Sidle that will tell you, or even possibly even tapes of that. What is the prayer of practicing to actually realize and to actually anatta? How do I realize anatta? How do I realize anatta? It's not, I don't think, the way that that's worked. Works. Sorry. It's not the way that it works. The question in the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta was not about that. It was about why treat these things as self. Why take it personally? It wasn't like these aren't a self. It's like, why cling to them? And it's not I that realizes anatta, because that would be contradiction in terms, wouldn't it? It's just it's just not taking this whole thing seriously, so that you take, or personally, so that you do take it seriously, but you don't take it so personally. It is serious what you do with this thing that you call yourself. It is important. It is important what you intend. It is important what you do, what you say, what you think. It is important. But it comes about dependent upon causes and conditions. And the causes and conditions that one has greatest freedom over is these intentions. So they just do the right thing. Don't know what the right thing is. Practice the Eightfold Path. That's good enough. No, it's there. There's enough instruction for that. So those are what I would suggest for that. I'm sorry, Nick, that I'm not actually an expert on the four elements: earth, water, fire, air. The book, The Buddha's Teaching Its Essential Meaning, I think it's on GitHub now. It's by a person called Weti Muni. That book is, I think, quite good on the four elements. But that's my opinion. The Buddha's Teaching Its Essential Meaning by Weti Muni is available on GitHub. As I say, there are other, I expect there's probably stuff by Paul Oxide or one of his disciples that goes really into the four elements in some way. But I've not done a big deal on that. I've not really used them as a meditation thing. I know that it is really stressed in that tradition. And thank you for asking questions, everybody. It's actually helpful because it allows other people to feel that there's some participation, and it gives, it's a gift to me because you ask the questions and I don't have to answer them. You just give them to me, and then that's enough. And then I respond in the way that I do. That's the way. Thank you all.